Hey there, welcome to another edition of Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting. It's I, DJ Impact, and we have Matt Michaels here with us and Rob Boss Comedy, Boss Larry with us. Thank you again for being with us. We don't have Sin City Steve tonight. He is at a When We Were Young festival. So
what's AEW going to do without him?
I don't know, because they were shitting on in the first wrestling talk show we just did. So, I'm sure next week he will give them more extra time to tell us how great AEW really is. Anyways, welcome to 3 Count. We ask everyone, if you're watching this live, if you feel free to throw any of your comments in the comment box of YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. If you want to throw it in, we will love that. And for everyone else who's just downloading the podcast and listening, we appreciate you for doing that as well. And yeah, let's get right into our topics, our 3 count for tonight. It's time. Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting present
1, 2, 3.
Count Talk.
Count Talk, baby.
All right, so our first one is Impact Wrestling is no more. TNA Wrestling is returning. It's from ewwrestlingnews.org. So mainly here, after the pay-per-view that happened this weekend, Bound for Glory, after everything was said and done, they went into this about a good 4-minute video, which I got a chance to see. And yeah, it wasn't bad. I thought it was presented well. You saw these wrestlers kind of running and meeting and into this sort of park area that has this lake. And they went to go grab this box out of the lake, and they said, hey, we got to go back to our roots. We got to go from the beginning. We got to start, and you kind of figure out what it is they're talking about, and before you know it, open up that box and you're seeing all types of memories and replays. I know, right?
Dismembered body. We got to put her back together.
Yeah. But yeah, TNA was the announcement. They're going to go back to that name. They also mentioned that part of this was it's a buzz generator, that name. So it said in the article, and that the company will also be using the old brand name as a means to unify the history of the company's various names. So also the report from Fightful Select said that they had planned to revert back to the TNA Wrestling brand name. It was made over the summer, but circumstances resulted in delays until this point. It also says that the company is planning to make changes to various facets of its presentation moving forward. This includes logos, look, production, venues, and more. But there are no plans, of course, for a 6-sided ring. So, Matt Michaels, man, this was an article you came up with. What was your thoughts, man? We're losing Impact Wrestling to now TNA.
Oh, well, the first thing is congratulations, DJ TNA. Because if they're changing their name, your name is changing too.
Yeah, I guess so.
So DJ Total Nonstop Action will now be hosting the Vegas Bad Boys.
There you go.
So, what's interesting is that the name change to Impact Wrestling was to generate buzz and to freshen up the brand.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't do anything for them, essentially. So the idea here, I think it's not going to be getting a buzz unless you have Access TV. Or unless you subscribe to Fight Plus or Fight TV, you can't see it. It's the John Cena of wrestling programs,
pretty much.
So the thing is that really, I think in the end, the idea of changing it to TNA really does work in terms of the legacy of what the company is. And I think now that the company is 20 years old, it needs to kind of embrace that history. If you go on your Roku or one of the streaming devices, you can get that TNA channel, and they show Impact episodes from a few weeks ago, and they show TNA stuff from the whole history of the company.
It's on Samsung for free, on Samsung on
command. In Roku, all those streaming platforms that have the TV channels, essentially, you can see this for free, and that's the whole thing. They have a catalog, they have a library. Now it's how do you utilize that history? And one of the big things I think is that you have a TNA Hall of Fame, and the people in this Hall of Fame are all people who were in TNA. So, Impact was also the name of the show. So you're not losing the idea of Impact. It's still tied to it.
It was always TNA Impact.
Right. It was TNA, and it was, essentially Thursday Night Impact, essentially, right? So, and then they just dropped TNA and became Impact Wrestling. So that, I think, in itself is just something that they can capitalize on, this idea of there is history there. Whereas AEW is only 4 years old, and there's not a lot of history there. So you utilize what you have, especially because your library, you have a lot of guys who are in the WWE or in AEW. So, show the history, make it more prominent, that a lot of these guys who you like now were there. LA Knight was there.
Yeah.
Eli Drake.
Yeah, exactly. So, you can capitalize on some of the biggest people that wrestling has right now who were in their company.
AJ Styles.
Yep.
Let me ask you, let me go to you, Rob. Do you think it was necessary in the first place to have changed the name from TNA over to Impact? I know Impact wanted to
I think it had something to do, and I'm guessing, with Anthem when they bought out to Anthem. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. I just remember it happened. It wasn't a dramatic change because it was always Impact. So it's not like they came out with a name out of their ass.
Right. But why not just keep it TNA from the beginning? Like, why are we not calling it?
It has to be something with Dixie Carter or licensing. Am I wrong, Matt?
It very well could have done with Dixie. I don't remember at this point. It could have also have been just a freshen up change.
Well, they definitely wanted to make a change coming from out of TNA from that, but
all I want is one thing, gentlemen.
Yeah.
They better have this fucking theme.
Well,
they better have Adrenaline Rush theme, dude. That when I first was, I got out of wrestling in the early 2000s, and then I got back into it. I got out of it, and then around like 2010, I'm flipping through and I hear that song, and I see, oh, wait a minute, is that the Hardys? Like, wait, that's Jeff Hardy with a purple belt, and here's all these wrestlers that I like, and they're still pretty much in their prime and putting on good matches, and there's stories going on here. I got to see Chyna wrestle again. She got to wrestle your favorite Jeff Jarrett. I saw good matches, and I was enjoying it. And then there was talk like, oh, shit, this is a possibility, a long shot that they could go somewhere. Then they dragged Hulk Hogan in, and it went down the shitter. But it was good, and I liked it. And I wanted to watch every week, and I still do, but I'm not as faithful as I used to be. It looks like it's got a little bit of life left, where they can maybe get out from under. Maybe if they could get a quarter of the viewership that AEW has, if they even have that now. I would like to see them. Yeah, and it was all ex-WWE. I mean, you had R-Truth was their champion way early on, and he was a completely different persona. He was a psycho heel, and he's really intelligent. And it was a lot of guys. The cage match with Sting and Mick Foley was amazing. That's hardly ever talked about. The matches with Samoa Joe, where Samoa Joe was a TNA original and fought Kurt Angle. That match was incredible. They have, like you said, they have an archive of fucking incredible matches, and somehow, some way, in the last 7 years, they blew it. So this is good because it might bring people back, but they got to get off Access TV. They got to get onto some sort of.
But they won't, because that's the whole thing. The Access is owned by Anthem.
Oh, shit.
That's why they're on Access.
I mean, it's not like when they were on the Pursuit channel and you're like, oh, God damn, this is bad. This is like, public access. So
is there another station that's out there
weren't they on TNT years ago?
No, they were on TNN, the Nashville network.
Yes. And that's why I got confused, because it was very similar. It'd be like, and after this, the Grand Ole Opry. And I was like, what?
Is there another station that's not owned by ABC or NBC that they could jump on but have a bigger presence on regular cable? You know what I'm saying? Is there something out there that's not owned by the bigger?
To call Tony Khan, he'll make it, and then it'll flounder after a year and a half.
But see, that's the problem. The problem is they're not going to jump, because it's content filler for their own network. It makes no sense to go to another network.
But here's my question with all of that. In that same vein, you have New Japan Pro Wrestling hard upon their programming. So, I mean, we don't really talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling as much, but I know wrestlers here in the Valley who are like, why are you not watching NJPW? As a wrestler, that's what we watch, because we want to see the talent, and we want to see our local talent move up in the cards and in the ranks. I mean, Mike Bailey's been putting on a lot of matches there, and then, comes back to Impact and maybe goes to AEW. That's another thing. That's a whole nother network, which is in the same vein, where it's good, not great, it's good. And it has a chance to be better than it is.
Well, I guess I'm looking forward to the new change and everything. I've already found what my New Year's resolution is going to be, and that will be going back to watching. Well, I guess I can't go back to watching because I didn't watch TNA back when TNA was TNA. But I did watch Impact, so I'm going to go start watching TNA at the beginning of the year, and then hopefully I'll come back with some really good info when we kick off the new year, see what they're doing. But their first show is the first paper. Oh, it's the first pay-per-view out here in Vegas, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that show's going to be out here, which is it Hard to Kill?
I think so.
Yeah, it's Hard to Kill.
Is it going to be at Samstown?
No, it's actually at the Palms.
Shit. That's good and bad. It's better for them, but means the tickets are higher.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. The idea is that they wanted a bigger presence in terms of Samstown probably was raising the price, to be honest. But with
Samstown, if you sweep up the floor, they'll let you get in for free.
You would think.
It should be called Hard to Sell to anyone.
TNA presents Hard to Sell.
The way they're going, AEW, that's their next. Can't give away tickets.
Well, there we go. We'll check in and see how that goes. Let's go right into our second count here. And this one is the Nick Aldis versus Adam Pearce rivalry is here. This is from CageSideSeats.com. So most of this is, if you pretty much watched SmackDown this past Friday, you saw the backstage interaction between the two after Jay pretty much was getting fined 10 grand for popping up on the show and causing all types of ruckus. That caused good old Adam Pearce to say, wait, what? I mean, your guy did the same thing, came on to our show, like, what are you doing? And hey, now this started to, piss off good old Nick and was like, you know what? Not only I want you to kick out Jay, kick out Adam too. And that was like, oh, like when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's what we're doing. Okay. All right. It's looked like this business is really about to pick up here. So a rivalry between these two. Of course, this could be leading up to the Survivor Series. That seems like that's where that's going to be going, but I'm liking it. I'm liking what I'm seeing. What was your take on this? I'll start with you, Rob. I don't know if you saw that segment, but
here's my thing about this.
All right, go ahead.
They're gonna pick teams for Survivor Series. The majority of people don't know who Nick Aldis is. They don't know he held the 10 pounds of gold for 90 years over at, Billy Corgan's promotion. Mm-hmm. They don't know that he's married to Mickie James. They don't know anything about him. Mm-hmm. So if he shows up and they go, oh, we can't get a fifth guy for the team, and then he takes off his suit and he's shredded, and he goes, oh, by the way, I'm a bloody wrestler too. Cool. If they just use him as a background guy who, runs his mouth and cuts promos, bad, because now I'm getting bored. Yes, the rivalry is good. It's good. But again, Adam Pearce ran both shows not 2 weeks ago and got promoted. Let me tell you something, brother. You're getting a promotion. Oh, wonderful. Now you only work on one show. Oh. Hey, I came late to work the other day. You know what my manager did? She took me off all the manager shifts. I don't run the store anymore. That's what happens when something bad happens to you. All right? And I deserved it. I came 10 minutes late and cut a woman off and did bad stuff.
Were you watching that fat chick before?
Well, she was the one I almost hit. And then started screaming at me in front of my district manager. So my point is, though, great. Bad, and I got yanked from running the spot in the morning. So now, if you're the manager of Raw and SmackDown effectively, and they go, "Oh yeah, you're out," but this is a good thing. It's Paul Levesque logic. So if they don't do it well, I need to see Aldis get involved. I need to see him put his hands on people. I need to see him get physically involved and step it up to the next layer, because Adam Pearce, I mean, what's his name, was wrestling on TNA Impact not 3 weeks ago. Nick Aldis, he was still doing matches. He was fighting for their belt against Alex Shelley. So if we're gonna not utilize him and his abilities in ring, this is their opportunity to bring him in as a wrestler. Let me go over to you, Matt. Now,
in most cases, most times, general managers didn't get too involved in the ring. They try to have this office professional, character or lifestyle that they ran with. But he makes a good point. I mean, Nick is a wrestler, and hell, Adam used to wrestle. Just out of curiosity, I doubt this is where this could go, but do you think at some point, they maybe talk to see, maybe get Adam back out there in the ring to do something, maybe even against Nick? Would
you want to see him in that singlet again with the gut hanging out?
I don't know. Well, what's your take on it, Matt, the whole thing when you saw the segment?
Well, Charmaine here said, is they going to face one-on-one? Who will win? That's the question. Mm-hmm. I think that in the end, Adam Pearce has proven to be someone that the company has really appreciated. All right. When Adam got hired, it was big for those people who had been around him for years. Mm-hmm. And he got an opportunity to basically get his dream job of working in the WWE. But the one thing that he hadn't had is an opportunity to have a big WWE match.
Yeah.
And this is also a way to then give him that match and also make Aldis, honestly, the active, general manager wrestler. And I think that the only one who really kind of held that was Regal. Regal actually, I think, wrestled a little bit as the general manager. So,
Yeah.
and American Bam Bam has a good point here too. Yeah, show managers are only entertaining if they're heel, which is always been a problem, because the problem ends up being that you have two shows, and both shows have heel GMs. That it doesn't work. What I think they're doing, and you kind of seen it with that setup, is that they're going gray on this. I don't think there's going to be a face heel. I think it's just going to be two guys who are trying to up each other, and it will lead up to them eventually either wrestling in the Survivor Series match, as part of the teams, or a singles match. But I think that's the general gist. I think that Adam Pearce gets one match. Hey, if Michael Cole could wrestle a fucking match, Adam Pearce deserves it.
Right. Yeah, true that. Well, I guess we'll see where that goes. But yeah, I like how they presented all that on this past Friday. Loving the heat. Let's go right now to count three. And this one is Eric Bischoff weighs in on WWE repackaging Brian Pillman Jr. as Lexis King for NXT. This was from WrestlingInc.com. So this one, mainly, it's this goes a little bit over the history of Brian Pillman Jr., who. I'll just read a little bit. It just says pretty much Lexis King, formerly Brian Pillman Jr. in AEW, is set to make his WWE debut this week during Halloween Havoc. And then Eric Bischoff just addressed WWE's divisive decision to change the second generation star's name during the quote strictly business end quote podcast. And pretty much he just says that I like it. I really like it. He said before adding, I think it gives him the best shot possible to break through. I really, really do. I was impressed, very impressed, amazed to see where it goes. I like it. And that was the end quote from that. It also speaks that he's already made his in-ring debut working on two non-televised matches against Brooks Jensen and Riley Osborne on October 13th and 14th, respectively. And while some have made their feelings known on the omission of the Pillman name, King's new moniker does similarly pay homage to his family, taking Alexis and King from his sisters Alexis Reed and Skylar King. Let me go over to you, Rob, because you picked this topic here. What was your take hearing that Brian's not going to be Brian Pillman Jr. anymore? He's now Lexis King. What do you think?
So first of all, they gave him a stripper name. I don't know what the hell Lexis is. I'm picturing like a 20-year-old Puerto Rican chick with bangle earrings and her name in gold around her neck with the name Lexis King. Okay, that name is stupid and everything. It's dumb. But they needed to give him a different name. They did need to give him a different name. His family's history with WWE after the passing of his father and that horrible interview that Vince McMahon did with Brian Pillman's wife, where she's just like, don't bring up the name, don't bring up his problems, don't bring up his drug. And then he says it anyway, and she shudders. It's not a legacy you want to go back to. You cannot, unfortunately, go back to using your dad's name as a legacy when your dad did a segment when he was, trying to break down the door and had a gun in his hand and all this crap. Yeah. So they have to do something else with him. He was going nowhere in AEW. The Varsity Blondes was a nice throwback to his dad's, Stone Cold's, Steve Austin's old tag team. But he wasn't going anywhere. So this is his best opportunity. Eric Bischoff is right. And this time, I do want to see him in NXT. I do want to see him develop a character. He never got the chance to do that. He was just a kid with the Letterman. And he was very sloppy in the ring. His in-ring work is poor. He cannot string moves together. He really doesn't have good spots when he was in AEW. He has the physique and he has the look of a 90s wrestler, a late 90s wrestler, which is all good. And he's got the pedigree, but he can't use it. So this is an opportunity for him to have a fresh slate. What's not being mentioned is he might be bringing somebody in tow from AEW with him. They might be pulling in Brock Anderson because his contract's up. And Triple H is in talks with Brock Anderson. And that's another guy. Except with him, at least, he could use his dad's name and use that legacy and do something with it. Both of those guys.
We could call him Cock Anderson.
Oh, Jesus. How long are you holding on to that one? But yeah, that's the thing. It's you have a tale of two guys that have wrestling lineage, which is really great. One can't use the name, fine, give him something else. The other guy, who's even more boring, Brock Anderson, is linoleum peeling entertainment. Maybe they do something with him. Maybe they put the two of them in a tag team down the road. I don't know. I'm interested to see if they get Brock Anderson. I could foresee a tag team with those two in the future.
Matt Michaels, what did WWE see in Brian Pillman to say, hey, let's grab him and bring him over to NXT?
Well, first, I think that Rob just hit on Brock Anderson's new name, linoleum peeling. Good shit.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things. First, Brian is a really good person. He really is someone who has done everything the right way and tried to, he's never just tried to live off of the Pillman name. So I think that, the interest in signing him is he has a lot of that. I want to say raw charisma that his dad has. You're starting to see that in these promos.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they couldn't figure out with him in AEW. You're right. It was just look at him, linoleum peeling. Oh God.
That's the future right behind me.
Yeah. But you're seeing this evolution of someone who, when he got into AEW, there were some hard times for him. He had some personal issues going on, and he had to overcome those demons. And unfortunately, even though he did that, they didn't know, as they have 900 wrestlers there, what to do.
His first run in, he came in khakis and penny loafers. How is that threatening? I don't think this guy could kick anybody's ass. He came in like he was like a Van Heusen catalog model at JC Penney. He was like, what the fuck? Who is this guy? Oh, and his hair's already falling out. Great. You shouldn't look like your dad that closely. He looks like he's 50 years old with hair plugs.
Well, and that's the thing. The thing is that what's interesting about it is changing the name. He's already mentioned that his dad is a different person. His dad is king. So there's some backstory there that we'll, eventually find out. And the coolest thing is that even though he's not Brian Pillman Jr., he's playing the same type of loose cannon character in these vignettes. You're seeing it. You're seeing that he's an unhinged person. And that gives he sucks on the mic, he sucks in the ring. What's Steeler Michael's answer to the question? I honestly, that's the thing. We're going to see if NXT does what it's supposed to do. And we all know that WWE Machine takes guys like this and makes them into, guys who why him because he's Brian Pillman's son. Let's face it. That's why. That's the whole thing.
Wild stallions going on there. Oh boy.
Oh, wow.
Well, for those who aren't who's listening to the podcast, not watching it, Rob's throwing all these background pictures of Brian Pillman and who's the other guy?
Rock Anderson.
Rock Anderson.
Cock Anderson.
In the background. But yeah, this is going to be very interesting to see kind of where this all goes. I mean, like you say, Michaels, yeah, I mean, the Machine should be able to put something out, but if it can't, guess what? He won't go very far. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes.
Because you ain't in the WWE, American Bam Bam, because your dad wasn't part of the WWE.
Oh, God. All right. We'll end up letting that be our 3 count for the show. And we want to thank you all who were watching us live, throwing in your comments. We appreciate it. Come back every week. We enjoy when you're here. It's always good to see you there. And for those who listen, thanks for downloading and listening to it as well. With that, we're going to give our final thoughts for the week. I'll start with you, Rob. Any shows or anything you want to promote, anything at all you want to say to the good people?
I ain't going nowhere because I got the fucking Rona, so that pretty much shit canned that for the week.
Oh my God. Yeah, man. Well,
so yeah, that sucks. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Steve Tito. My friend who I'd seen in 15 years came out to visit and can't hang out with the guy now. So I want to give you a shout out. He's actually a producer at WWE. And he runs all the background equipment, doing all the segues to commercials and things. So it's pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm going to be. Oh wow, I can't be on Tuesday. Yeah, I was going to be at 18 Bin this Tuesday. I'm not going to be doing that. So, following week, catch me at 18 Bin on Tuesday doing a cold open for Mir the Miracle at the Drunken Jokes comedy show. And by then, hopefully, I'll be not diseased.
Yeah.
But if I guess I'll have to do it here. I don't like the name Cock Anderson. I don't like cock and we don't like talking about cock. That's not very good. We're trying to pass laws to get that kind of stuff banned. I don't know. I'm not liking it. No Cock Anderson. Yeah.
Hey man, no doubt. Look, thanks for being on the show, man. Got you in last minute. Get well. We all trying to stay away from Rona, but sometimes Rona just finds us. So, hey, it's all good, man. Just get well. Matt Michaels, final words, thoughts?
Rona found me, and it cost me $60 million. I'll tell you.
I'm laughing like Santa Claus for some reason.
Because let's face it, Vince McMahon is the Santa Claus of professional wrestling, right? He gives us these presents, but down inside, he's a dirty old man who was married to his wife for 700 years, got bored. I'm sure he was chasing some reindeer tail around, doing things with the elves. I'm sure, the elves, that white powder up in fucking North Pole, that ain't fucking snow.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, but Santa Claus never had to cover up a bunch of dead women in hotel rooms for Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Oh, God.
No, but he had to for Frosty.
I can't even. I don't know what to do with that. You got me. I don't know what to do with that. You won. I don't know what to do with that.
Oh, you guys are something else. All right, man. Hey, so anyway, thank you, everybody. We appreciate it. American Bam Bam, get well too, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. And until then, y'all take care. Peace out.